In today's 5-Minute Gardener, don't be too quick to prune plants that look dead. The last hard freeze we had damaged a lot of plants, but it may not have killed them. Our 5-Minute Gardener, Debbie Mounce from Harlow Gardens, tells us why.
All righty, good afternoon. We've had some freezes already, and one of the main questions we get from customers after a freeze is they come into the nursery. Okay, what do I do now? You know, my plants are looking really ugly. I'm standing behind a plant that really got nailed in that first hard freeze that we got, and you can see it doesn't look very happy. But one of the main things you want to remember that even though these plants don't look very happy like this, they're frozen and such, and they certainly don't look very pretty in your yard. These frozen branches are still providing protection to the part of the plant that is still green. So what happens? Can I come along? The question is, can I come along and cut that back now? This is not the time to do that, because they will protect this plant, the heart of this plant, as another freeze comes along. If you start cutting this back, what'll happen is then you're exposing whatever is still green and viable in that plant to a next good hard freeze. So be as patient as you can. I know that's a tough thing when they look so bad, but be as patient as you can and just wait until generally around mid-March to cut them back. Things like lantana, the bougainvillea here, anything that's really tender. Now, the other thing that you can do for the things that are tender to protect them certainly is cover them, but other things that you can do is make sure that your plants, on the day that we're going to have a freeze, make sure they're well watered, because a well hydrated plant is much more able to fend off the freeze or the frost. So you can also hang Christmas lights on plants. It's going to provide a couple degrees of heat for the plants. That will also help. So there are some things that you can do to help protect your plants from those freezes as they come. In the studio, I will bring you a product that we sell that shows you what you can do to cover the plants. You don't want to use plastic, you don't want to use blankets, and I'll talk about that a little more in studio with Martha. Alrighty, you guys, good luck in this cold.
Yeah, we need all the luck we can get. My patio is a disaster.
Yeah, oh yeah, this tonight is tough. This is really a good hard freeze. So what that means is, you know, I brought a little piece of frost cloth with me, which is product that we sell. You can't get it anywhere in town. Everybody is sold out.
Sold out, yes.
But if you happen to have some, one of the things that you can do, it generally only raises the temperature by about 3 degrees, maybe 4 if you're lucky. You can double it up. That's going to help a little bit. You can also, if it's a plant in a pot, you can move the plant under the patio. The patio and the wall, the warmth of the house, will throw heat off on it, and that's going to help a lot. I talked about the Christmas lights a little. And make sure that if you put the frost cloth over it, oh, if you don't have frost cloths, use sheets, use whatever you have, but try and get them up off of the plant. That really helps, because if you use those and there's moisture in there, they'll freeze to the plant, causing further damage. Or if they get wet or damp, they can actually weigh on the plant. That's why you don't want to use blankets, and that causes damage to the plants.
Let's switch gears a little bit and talk about why you shouldn't prune those bougainvilleas, even though they look like they're ready for the garbage can.
Yes, they do. They do. Well, what happens, like I said in the segment, you know, this is the bougainvillea, and in the first freeze you may get this much damage. And then and if you come along and you take that off because it's looking ugly, then all of this part that is still green down here is then exposed to the next freeze that comes along. So then all you're doing is chasing that freeze all the way down into the heart of the plant. This dried up looking stuff is still providing protection to whatever is still green below that point in your plant. So don't be too quick to cut. Although Marion Harlow's rule is, I can't stand it when it looks that ugly. So she makes Bill go out there and trim it. And she kind of takes a risk, and it usually pays off. As long as it's established, it'll probably pay off, but it's not the best advice.
Yeah, just be careful tonight, because
yes,
it's going to be a cold one.
It is tough.
Okay, Debbie, thank you very much.
You're welcome.